Greetings, fellow seekers. I'll call this episode 9 of a series I've been calling the Lovecast. And I think that I am now ready and that it is now time to make a video that's simply an introduction to who I am and to what the Lovecast is and why I'm doing it, what I'm hoping to accomplish. So it's just an introduction of sorts, I guess. And let me first say that one of the things that I think is important to me is that I, as much as possible, try to be present and real and authentic with you in these videos. And so to that end, I've been trying to kind of prepare my thoughts in my head and not put them down into a script form. There's something about having the script that it's sort of constricting. So it's helpful in that my performance anxiety is what caused me to use a script in the first place, so that I would make sure that I had the thoughts down and communicated what I wanted to, what was important. But at the same time, it sort of becomes a layer that blocks me from you, whoever may be tuning in and watching. So I'm going to endeavor to prepare myself in my head and just be ready to communicate what's important with each episode as much as possible without the script. And thank you for being patient with me as I may occasionally ramble or forget things and make little inserts. So, who am I? My name is Jared Treadway, and I am just an ordinary person who's been on a spiritual search, who's been on a spiritual journey. And I've arrived at a point in my life that where I have this impulse to share, to get some of the information and insights out of myself and out into the world, and to become a part of a conversation that's happening on a global scale. And so this is the beginnings of me kind of reaching out and trying to do that. I am located in north central Texas at 33 degrees north and 96 degrees west. And this is a medium-sized town northeast of the DFW Metroplex, right in America's heartland. And without going into an exhaustive history, I'll just say that I grew up in a small town here in North Texas, and I would have expressed that I was a spiritual person, but not necessarily religious. I did have some exposure to Baptist church as a kid, and then a little bit in college. But in parallel to that, I've always been interested and open to other ideas. I remember in college I read some Eckhart Tolle and Abraham Hicks and Dan Millman, the Peaceful Warrior series. So I've always been open to exploring different ideas about the nature of our spirituality and metaphysics and all that fun stuff. I studied architecture at university, but my interests then and even after leaving college have been really broad. So I've done a lot of different things, from architecture, interior design, landscape design, to graphic design, marketing, filmmaking, acting, photography, music. Basically, I just love creative stuff. I love exploring ideas. I like talking about ideas. I like sharing and growing ideas with people. And that's, of course, part of the goal of this channel. In around 2012, which, of course, many of you in the spiritual community will know that was a special year, a pivotal year. But I didn't know that at the time, not super consciously, obviously. But I started to feel discomfort, unease in my physical body. And I really didn't know why. I went to a medical doctor to see if there was make sure there wasn't anything physically wrong with me, and they didn't find anything. But in parallel to that, I started sort of renewing my interest in spirituality and metaphysics, and started getting back into the reading that I'd started earlier on, and I had a series of what I'm going to call amazing mystical spiritual experiences over the course of a few years in parallel to my study. Some what I'll say divine interventions. I feel really grateful and thankful for some of those experiences, and as a result of those experiences, my desire for how I meet the world and what I'm going to be doing in the world has sort of evolved and shifted. And this is all archetypal scenario. There's nothing special about any of this journey. There's nothing. I guess what I want to say is there's nothing really special about me. I don't really know if I have anything to offer with with regards to anyone else's spiritual journey. I think I kind of understand that everyone is on their own journey, and your journey is very unique and specifically yours. But I also do know that, from my own experience, that you if you start to seek answers to your questions, that different friends, family members, coworkers, YouTubers can, provide information that you can then integrate and synthesize and react to. So what I'm hoping to do with this channel is to create a space where I can share some of the insights that I'm having, some of the information that I've gathered in my own search. My mind is a synthesis of all sorts of different teachings and systems, from Myers-Briggs, from contemporary psychology, through the human design system and the gene key synthesis, and ancient wisdom teachings and everything in between, and new thought and old thought. And from my perspective, all of those different systems and modalities are all birthed from the same space, and they're all leading us to the same place, albeit in different forms. And so I want us to just talk about all of that. And I'm calling this series the LoveCast. And that may be corny or cheesy or naive or childish, and I think I'm okay with all of those things. Basically, the reason for that name is that I've kind of come to understand and know that there's only one energy in the universe. And actually, I think the word universe means one verse, one voice. There's one tone being struck at various, infinite levels of density and frequency. So within that one voice, everything in creation exists. And different wisdom teachings and traditions have all used slightly different language to describe what that one energy is. But I think some language that comes really close is the word love. So, and this is not the coddling romantic love, like, I'm in love with someone or I'm falling in love. It's about the energy and the field of love that's available to all of us. It's an undercurrent. It's moving through us all the time. And our work is to allow it, to receive it, to be in resonance with it. And so that's what I'm hoping to do on this channel. All of the topics that are discussed will be discussed through the energy and in the frequency of universal love. Yeah. So, thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for being a part of an episode, or for tuning into a series of episodes. I have no more specific agenda than what I've shared with you. So I don't really know precisely where any of this is headed. I want to have fun with it. If you have ideas for it, please leave a comment in the comment section. If you have ideas for topics that you think it would be interesting for me to speak on, please leave a comment and I'd be glad to consider that. We're all in this together, and I just want to kind of find my place in conversation and be uplifting and inspiring and supportive to the degree that I can. I just want to occupy the highest possible frequency that is available to me. I think that's the best any of us can do. So I think I've said what I needed to say. This has been episode 9 of the LoveCast. I'm Jared Treadway, and I'm sending you love and light until we meet again.